when I wake up, I go, so what day is it today? I really have to think about it. I'm dreadful, aren't I?
I have to say, was when I was not working, I
Mm.
felt the same way. Like you kind of really lose track of the days, and that's actually a good feeling. Because now
Yes,
that
it
I'm
is.
back to working, every day I get up and it's like, oh my God, it's Monday, or wow, we're midweek, it's Wednesday, and then yay, it's Friday. So you really do keep track of the days. Well, hello,
Okay.
Susan.
Hi, Rosa. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I'm fine. Still a bit cold though. I was about 8 degrees, 7 degrees. So
Yeah.
in comparison to you, we're not cold.
It's -7, but it says feels like -11. Yeah, but it's interesting because I think we had like 3, 4 days where it went up to above zero.
Okay.
And yeah, so felt like spring.
This is Phoebe. You know Phoebe, but she's being a right
Hi, Phoebe.
baggage. But yeah, I've seen on Facebook recently people saying about their bulbs coming through, the daffodils and whatever, which is really early for us. That
Yeah,
is
that's amazingly early.
ridiculously.
That's amazing
Yeah. Yeah.
early.
So, because someone sort of put up, I think I got daffodils coming through. Is that all right? Sort of like, yeah, happens.
Yeah.
But there have been a lot of plants out there that you normally see early spring, sort of late winter, early spring, which have been coming through in the last month or so, even. And I'm looking at them going, I'm sure you don't normally come out at this time of year, but it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. It's weird. Hey, Phoebe. Don't know what's got into this cat. All of a sudden, after 8 years of owning her, she was born here. She now likes me.
Wow.
And she wants to sit with me all the time and make a
He
fuss of
needs
me.
company.
Well, she's got the other cats, there's one indoors and two are out at the moment. But
She wants
yeah,
people company.
possibly. She was sort of technically Simon's cat, but Simon's been gone 2 years, so it can't be. It's not all of a sudden, is it? It's over 2 years, nearly 3 years that Simon's been gone. Because she used to go into Simon's bedroom at night with him, sort of thing. But suddenly, all of a sudden, she's decided that I'm quite a nice person and she'll want to sit and purr with me. Isn't that right? Which is quite nice because I get somebody sitting on my lap, keeping me nice and warm. Yesterday or the other night, I had her on my lap, and then I had Kitty sort of down between my knees, and then I had Rum Tum on my feet because I sort of sitting up, if you know, I got my legs up, like three cats sort of. But that is really, it's nice and warm, and then it gets too hot. But I don't like to kick them off because it is quite cozy.
So how was your
Anyway,
week?
it's been I weeks are going so quick. I have when I wake up, I go, so what day is it today? I really have to think about it. I'm dreadful, aren't I?
No, you know what? That's definitely a sign of like when you're retired or you don't have to go to work. I have to say, was when I was not working, I
Mm.
felt the same way. Like you kind of really lose track of the days, and that's actually a good feeling. I think it's such a great
Yeah.
feeling because now
Yes,
that
it
I'm
is.
back to working, every day I get up and it's like, oh my God, it's Monday, or wow, we're midweek, it's Wednesday, and then yay, it's Friday. So you really do keep track of the days.
Yeah, and I really don't. What I did this week, I've been having this issue with the house in Swindon, and I didn't know
Yeah.
what was really causing it. And Paul, my maintenance man, he'd actually contacted me the week before because even though when we first highlighted the issue, um, and he took the floorboards up, it was actually dry underneath. And that was the beginning of October. So that's like 2.5 months ago. But a couple of weeks ago, we had some really heavy rain, and now there's water sitting on the um, base of the foundations.
Yeah.
And Paul sort of went, there's water coming in somewhere, sort of thing. So in a way, I couldn't get him to put new floorboards in until we've actually really got to the crux of what is actually going on, because this is just going to repeat itself. Even though, as you know, I want to sell the house,
Yeah.
I don't feel with a clear conscience that I could sell it on having put just floorboards over replacement new floorboards, even knowing that we seem to be getting that water ingress.
Yeah, that you haven't got to the root cause of it, to be honest. Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So then I had a phone call from the insurance company, um, uh, basically saying that if I'm going to question their judgment or their decision by not paying me, um, I needed a second opinion, a qualified person. And I had tried to find somebody, and I was just going, because what I kept coming up with was people that do whole house surveys for purchase. That's not what I want. I just need somebody to come in and do a second opinion on this floor damage, rotten floor.
Yeah.
And that's not a whole house. I own the house. I had loads of emails saying, oh, we can do a whole house survey. No, that's not what I want. But I had one person phone me, and it was a Swindon phone number, which meant it was somebody in Swindon. And so I'm okay,
So
I'll
that's
answer.
good because yeah, yeah.
Yes, excuse me, moving the cat. Um, so I spoke to him, and because he phoned up and said, "So what is it you actually want?" Because he picked up the fact that I put something in the little box. He said that normally he would just put an email like everyone else had done, but because I'd written in there what I want is, he actually phoned up and said, "What second opinion for insurance do you need?" So I explained it to him. Um, and so actually, I eventually we came to sort of an agreed price-ish. And I went, I need to do it. I need to do it for my own peace of mind as much as anything else.
Yeah.
Even if at the end of the day, the insurance company still says you're not covered, at least I've got a clear understanding of what's causing it. And so they came out on Friday morning. Um, and there was even more water in there because we'd had even more rain. And it really is, there's sort of like a layer of sort of, you can see the water, when you sort of shine a light on it and you get the reflection back, like there is water. It's not just damp, it's water sitting there. And you go,
Hmm.
eek. And we had um a problem that's in the front room in the bay. In the back room, because that was the other thing I said, well, it doesn't go right through. But in the adjoining wall, because it's a semi-detached house, there is issues on the wall, sort of
Oh,
on
okay.
that one, which again we had talked about before. With the assessor, I pointed it out to
Okay.
them, and they'd taken a sample and did a salt test on it or whatever. But what this surveyor did is actually pulled up the carpet next to that wall, and it's the adjoining wall, so it's not an outside wall; it's an adjoining wall to the
That's
neighbor.
going to be really freaky because it
Yeah,
now involves the neighbor.
absolutely. So he pulled up the carpet and the lining, the underfelt thingy,
Yeah.
um, and there was evidence of water coming
Ooh.
up onto those floorboards.
Oh, do you think maybe it's coming and that it's trickling that way, or that could be the source of it?
I think it's from what he said, but he wanted Paul to actually pull up those floorboards so they could actually look underneath.
Okay.
But he thinks it's the same problem. What he said he thinks it is, because I said surely it's got a water damp course
Yeah,
on the
like
property.
a membrane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, well, there is on the walls, on between the bricks, there is a membrane there.
Yeah.
And there would be a membrane under the concrete plinth, I don't know, platform,
Yeah.
the concrete.
Yeah.
But what they didn't do historically, and it's not an old house,
Yeah.
is they didn't connect them up. So you've got this um, waterproof membrane underneath the concrete, which goes to the bricks. And then between the bricks going up the wall, you've got another one. But what you haven't got is somewhere between the wall bricks and the concrete to stop the water coming in. So when the water table comes up,
Yeah,
it's just seeping in all the way round
yeah,
the walls.
yeah.
And that to me makes sense.
Yeah, it
You know
does
what I mean?
actually make a lot of sense.
It makes more
So
sense
then the
than
question
writing
was,
down.
did they not do that because that was just not the building kind of code or whatever at the time, number one.
Yeah, that's
And if that's the case, is it easily fixable now?
in my mind. What I want to do is be able to say with a clear conscience that this problem has been dealt with,
Yes.
howsoever. And I think
100%.
that,
100%.
that,
I think that's first and foremost is you go
yeah,
out with a clean conscience knowing you sold the house and that to the best of your ability, you believe that there's no
dealt with.
water problems that are going to be caused to the next person. I
Yeah.
totally get that. But at the same time, now you have to factor in the second layer for me. It's like the second layer of,
Yeah.
okay, I want to
Yes.
fix the problem, but I also need to fix the problem in light of the fact that I want to sell the joint.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing something to the house that then turns people's off, because you got to remember, part of selling a house is the look and feel of a house for
Yes. Yeah.
somebody, right? And I don't know about you, but one of the things I look at when I go into any house is the flooring. Because
Yes.
there's certain flooring that I know just like where I live right now, I have beautiful hardwood floors because
Yeah.
this was place was built in the 50s. So,
Right.
you know those little slats that you had in the wooden floors and the those you don't see
Mm.
those anymore, obviously.
No.
So one of the things is when it's highly polished and it's highly varnished, it
Yes.
gives a
It's
really nice
wow.
look to a place. So to me,
Yeah.
I walk in and I go, "Oh my God, look at the beautiful floors." That's one of
Flooring.
the things that like gets
Mm.
people going to buy.
And I think
What does your sister say to all of this?
um I sent her a message yesterday because I hadn't actually shared much with her
Okay.
up until I'd actually spoken with the surveyor yesterday. Um, I sent her a message and um, I think it's more for her information because she hasn't really come back with anything.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
basically she's letting you handle it.
oh, absolutely. Oh, is that anything new? She did say, did he know how long it would have been leaking like that and what would have caused it?
Yeah, okay.
Um, so I said,
Tell me something I don't know, is what you're saying. Ask
yeah,
me a question I haven't already asked.
exactly. The other thing I shared with her yesterday was I've actually cancelled my connection with the management agency this
Ah,
last week. I feel like I'm closer and closer to actually getting a solution, a resolution that I can then move forward with and deal with. Because I think once we've actually decided what to do, it's not going to take a big deal of time for it to be rectified, which then means that I can start having it let again, hopefully, because I'm running
yeah.
out of money and I can't, I'm squirreling away money to make
Well,
sure
I
I've
was
got
gonna
enough to
say this
cover.
this whole thing,
Mm.
like the sooner they get to the resolution of how to fix it, the sooner
Yeah,
you can calculate how much it's gonna cost you to get
yeah.
to end of job,
Well,
and
mm,
then decide from a time perspective,
mm,
okay, what's the timing gonna be for selling versus if I'm past the sort of window of opportunity to put it back on the market, you
yeah,
know, again, let it for how long? Like, you know what I mean? For what period of
yeah.
time? 2 months, 3 months, whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, my feeling is once we've got this sorted and we've got a new management agency that, from what we've spoken with them about, etc., are better than what we've
Yeah.
had previously. They've given us better the information, their calculations, their money considerations is higher than what we've been getting. Fingers crossed. because I, with my ex, when we were first married, we actually built a house back end of the 1980s. And within 1 year, it was worth 10,000 less than we had paid for it. So it went from 52,000 to 42,000 in value. And we were stuck. We were stuck with a house that we hated, you know. Um, and so I'm conscious of having been in that situation, okay, long time ago, 30 plus, 35, 40 years ago. Gosh, is it that long? Blimey. But yeah, through the 1980s here, house prices went boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
And we
Yeah.
we bought sort of when it was almost at the top, and then they literally went ptung.
And your mortgage
Um,
prices must have been high then too, because I think
mm,
here the late 80s mortgage hot the rates, the interest rate kept climbing and climbing and
timing.
climbing.
Yeah,
I think there was a
yeah.
period in the 90s too here.
Mm, yeah. Everything sort of dropped,
Yeah.
and we were stuck with this house that we didn't like.
Yeah.
Um, but I dealt with it. We got out of that house. I'll tell you how we, shall I tell you how we got out of that house?
Yes, tell me how you got out of the house.
My son was born in 92, um, and we were living in that house. And I didn't want him to, by the time he was getting to like 3 or 4 years old, I didn't want him to go to the local school there because it wasn't the best area of Swindon. I wouldn't have bought a house there, but my ex was a bit, oh, this is a good house block. You know what they like, men. But anyway, um, my horses were living in Dauncey, which is here near here. We were living in the other side of Swindon, which is like 15 miles away.
Okay.
I decided that I wanted Simon to go to the local village school here, little village school. My horses lived here. Simon could go to the school here. He didn't have to go to the school in Swindon. I didn't, I was traveling every day to go and see the horses anyway, so it wasn't a biggie. Um, I was looking for somewhere else. How could we get out of this house without having to buy ourselves out of this house? And actually, I'd spoken to somebody I knew and realized that actually what I could do is rent a house and rent ours out. We couldn't sell it, or we couldn't afford to sell it because we'd have to find the
But the
difference.
rental on the other one paid for the rental of the one you were in.
The rental on the other one would pay for the mortgage
Ah,
on
for
the
pay
other
for the
one.
mortgage. Okay, right.
And then we could, so,
And you could rent the one you had. Okay.
or rent another
Yeah.
one. So anyway, I was driving through the village quite frequently here, and there was this house on the corner, about 300-year-old old farmhouse, 6 bedroom house, and I'd always gone by, oh, I like that house. You know how you do? I like
Yeah,
that
there's a
house.
lot of times there's like particular houses that you always drive
Mm.
by and you go, I re
You go,
oh, I really like that house.
I really
Even
like that
sometimes
house.
you've never been inside them and you don't know what it could
Absolutely.
probably be in like inside, but the outside's got good value.
Exactly. And then one day, while we were still, I'd sort of got Simon enrolled in the local village school. It was that village where this house was. I drove past that house and I went, that's the house I want to live in. It really, so seriously, that's the house I want to live in. A week to the day later, one of my clients got a pony, kept a horse with me, came onto the yard and said, oh, there's a house for let in the village. And I thought she meant the village she lived in.
Oh, okay.
And then when she described it, I said, that's my house. Oh my God, that's my house.
Yeah,
And literally, I had Simon with me, um, and we bundled into the car and drove straight round there because I never, ever in my wildest dreams thought that that house would be on the market for
yeah,
rent,
yes, yeah,
you know? And
yeah,
I went in and spoke to the farmer. We had a bit of, well, you need to speak to the estate agent, and well, I've got 3 dogs. Oh, we don't know if we want dogs on the farm. Do you know what I mean? It
yeah.
was, and Eventually, we got that house for rent.
Great.
And literally, it was 5 minutes walk down the road from the school that Simon was about to start. We moved in 10 days before Christmas, and Simon was due to start at that school in the January. And that's how I got my house. I loved that house. And I tell you what, I loved it even more because I didn't have to worry about the leaky windows and the leaky roof and the rattling. Do you know what I mean? That all of the disrepair of it because it was beautiful. It had two big attic rooms with stairs going up to it. It had three big bedrooms on the first floor, and then it was massive. It was massive. I tell you what we used to do, because the stairs went up the middle. We used to play murder in the dark in this
What?
house.
What's that?
Murder in the dark is where, and it was so pitch black, you could have somebody walk past you and you wouldn't see them.
Okay.
Because we were in the middle of the country, there's no street lights, there was
Right.
nothing.
Yeah, it's very dark
Yeah.
in the country. Yeah.
And murder in the dark is where you have some cards and one, say it's the jack. You hand out the cards between the people, and the person that gets the jack is the murderer, but
Okay.
nobody else knows who the murderer is. Yeah.
Yeah.
You then turn all the lights off and you go wandering around the house in the pitch black.
Yeah.
And then if somebody touches you on the shoulder, you then scream and fall to the floor.
Because basically it's the murderer who's killed you. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. And then you'd go into the living room, and the person that was the uh, um, what do you call it? Investigator,
Yeah.
would then ask questions. But you all had to tell the truth except for the murderer. The murderer didn't have to tell the truth.
You know
Okay.
what? This is like a game that they recreated. So how old is that game?
Oh, years, I guess. Absolutely years.
Because the thing is, somebody came out with like a game called like Murder Mystery, and there was a period of time, like I don't know how many years ago, where this was
Mm,
like very popular, and you hold parties, you have a
mm.
dinner, and you get all your friends together,
Yeah.
and you tell them to come dressed as something, and
Yes.
you get assigned a character. So you
Sure.
this guy's gonna
Yeah.
come, he's gonna be the
Mm,
investigator, and this guy's gonna come and again, nobody knows who got the thing of the murderer.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have dinner party and you do this thing as a dinner party
I
thing.
see. But we could do it literally in that house. We could do it in the pitch black.
That's amazing.
It was incredible. And
Yeah.
my nephew actually killed my brother twice. And we went, oh, what's he trying to tell you, Pete? And I still love that house. I still drive by it and go, I'd love to go inside now because it has been sold. And I think the new people have done it up. And I wouldn't mind knocking on the door and going, can I have a look
So when
round?
you used to drive by it and you used to say, "Oh, I love that house. I love that house." Did you have any idea what it looked like inside or not
Not
until it
sure.
became available for rent and then you actually went inside?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That day when I knew it was for rent, that's the first day I stepped inside.
Okay.
It had massive doors, um, and yeah, and the the tiles, the Victorian tiles, no, probably before that, um, on the floors. Um, it was just an amazing house, and it
Oh.
was the floor was wonky upstairs. You go up the stairs, and the floor was wonky, and the door into the spare bedroom um, didn't quite fit, and there was like this much gap between the door jamb and the top of the door, and they'd actually put a bit of wood on there, so it still didn't fit. Do you know what I mean? It was just
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
so quirky. It was so quirky.
Yeah, I mean that's
Actually,
why
I had
you
four
love
bedrooms.
certain places because they
Mm,
have quirky things or
so
there's certain
quirky.
things that you just, you don't want to change them because they're kind of
Mm.
quaint or
What it
they're,
is. Yeah.
yeah. But for you, what's quaint for somebody else is like, ooh, what the heck did they put that there for? What? How could they leave it that?
Absolutely. Now that I'm saying it, I said there was 3 bedrooms. There wasn't actually 4, but we used the fourth one as an office.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Now I'm thinking about it. I just
Yeah.
pictured it, the
Yeah.
office sort of thing. But that was, yeah. So that's how I lived in that house. But what in the meantime had happened is I'd bought this land here and we then put in for planning permission to live on our own land,
Right.
which meant that we then got that permission to live here, um, which is what happened. So we moved out of that house and I was ready to go. I was ready to leave it. I'd had my fix of living in that amazing house and and now I live here, as you know, on my farm
And
in this
that's
really cold, horrible mobile home. From one extreme to the other, 6 bedroom, 300-year-old farmhouse, which was amazing, to this. But the thing that always amazes me is that I looked at that house and went, that's the house I want to live in. And a week later, it was on the market for rent. And we moved in sort of a few weeks later. And I then let our house out in Swindon through the local housing department of the town council. So we had tenants in there for 2 years. And then that house then got into equity. So it wasn't in negative equity. The
yeah.
house prices went up. And so we sold it. And I tell you, the relief of selling that house was amazing because once we sold it, we knew we'd never have to live in it again. Because there's always that little potential that while owning a house and renting something else, you might have to live in that house. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
at
mean?
some point. Yes. Yeah.
And by selling it, it was, oh, rid of it. Never going to have to see it again, live in it again, blah, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And that was real relief, to be fair. Um, but the only disadvantage to that is that my now ex was concerned that we didn't have a property in the property market at the time because
Oh,
we were
yeah.
renting,
Okay. Yeah.
which is why we bought our first French house.
Ah.
Because I always wanted a house in France. It was cheaper to buy a house in France. We got a French mortgage. We didn't have any outstanding money in this country. We rented a house. So we actually bought the house. So when
So
we
the
divorced,
house in France, you bought it with the ex.
not this one that I've got
Oh, not
now.
the one you have now. You had another one.
We had one
Ah.
before, which
Okay.
when we separated, he took the French house and the mortgage, ha, and I kept Gable End Farm. I
Yeah, give
kept
him the
the
mortgage.
farm.
Give him the mortgage. That's your parting gift.
Yeah, yeah.